What if the most unsettling alien horrors you've never seen are right there in front of you, hiding beneath the surface of a forgotten decade? The 1980s were a golden age for horror, with films like Aliens and The Thing terrifying audiences and setting the tone for decades to come. But not every alien horror movie was a blockbuster. Some slipped through the cracks. Films that dared to go into the weird, the bizarre, and the downright disturbing. Tonight, we're exploring 10 obscure 80s sci-fi and alien horror films. These are the ones that embraced body horror, surreal terror, and chilling alien encounters in ways that the big franchises didn't. Let's dive in. What happens when a family is torn apart by an alien abduction, only for the father to return not quite the same? Xtro 1982 starts with a familiar premise, but this film quickly spirals into a nightmarish journey of body horror and alien grotesquerie that you won't see coming. When Sam the father is returned to Earth after a mysterious abduction, he's no longer the man his family remembers. Something else has returned with him, an alien entity that manifests itself in disturbing ways. From strange metamorphoses to bizarre, surreal interactions, Xtro grabs you by the throat with its discomforting, chaotic atmosphere. The movie's low budget doesn't hinder its ability to shock. In fact, it's part of the film's charm. It's raw, gritty, and unnervingly bizarre, full of practical effects that feel uncomfortable in the best way. Xtro isn't interested in subtlety or grace. It goes straight for visceral horror, pushing boundaries with its body horror sequences and its unrelenting alien menace. What's most unsettling is its refusal to conform to typical horror tropes. The characters are thrown into an alien horror they can't control, and we, the audience, are dragged along for the bizarre ride. Despite its cult status today, Extra wasn't a major success in its time, but it remains one of the 80s most unusual alien horror films, standing as a testament to how alien invasions and body horror can leave an audience feeling off-kilter long after the film ends. The Deadly Spawn, 1983, is the epitome of a low-budget horror masterpiece. From its practical effects to its grimy atmosphere, it's a film that feels like it was made in the basement of a drive-in theater, yet it boasts a unique charm that other creature features of the era couldn't quite replicate. The story is deceptively simple. A meteor crashes near a small town, and from it emerges a grotesque alien creature, an enormous, writhing mass of flesh and teeth that begins to consume anyone in its path. But what this film lacks in high production values, it makes up for with creative ingenuity and relentless horror. What makes The Deadly Spawn stand out is its unabashed commitment to creature horror. The alien spawn is a mess of organic matter, a freakish, crawling monstrosity that doesn't stop growing, and it's hungry. There's no elaborate backstory or complex narrative. Instead, the focus is on survival as a group of people, including a group of kids, try to survive the alien terror in a suburban home. The film feels claustrophobic, each scene building a growing sense of dread as the creature picks off its victims in gruesome ways. The special effects are homemade and gritty, but there's something charming about how they use simple yet effective techniques to bring the alien to life. The monster's design is horrifying, but it's the film's relentless sense of tension that lingers long after you've watched. The Deadly Spawn may not have been a mainstream success, but it holds a cherished place in the hearts of fans who love creature horror. Without Warning is an alien horror film that blends unexpected genre elements into a singular, terrifying whole. It starts like a typical slasher film, with a group of young people heading out into the woods for a camping trip. But quickly, things take a turn for the bizarre. An alien predator has arrived. This film isn't about sudden alien invasions or grand explosions. It's about building an unnerving atmosphere where the true horror comes from the unseen, the quiet, and the lurking terror of something we can't comprehend. The alien in Without Warning is a creature of few words, a silent, calculating force that hunts its victims without mercy. But what truly elevates this film is the unique twist. The alien isn't alone. It's aided by a pack of deadly, intelligent creatures, hunting dogs that are just as capable of murdering the innocent as their alien master. The slow burn suspense as the characters realize what's hunting them is wonderfully executed, drawing out tension and terror with every scene. While Without Warning didn't become a commercial success, it's a film that's ripe for rediscovery. The strange blend of slasher tropes with alien horror, combined with the film's eerie tone and atmosphere, makes it one of the hidden gems of early 80s alien horror. Imagine a chemical spill that unleashes a horror far worse than anyone could imagine. That's the premise of The Being, 1983, a creature feature that combines elements of environmental disaster with alien terror. Set in the small town of Pocatello, Idaho, the film centers around a horrific, mutated alien creature born from a chemical spill that starts to terrorize the locals. As the townspeople start to fall victim to this monstrous creature, the urgency to stop it grows, but no one is prepared for the full scale of the danger. The film isn't flashy or full of high-tech special effects, but it builds an oppressive, menacing atmosphere that makes the alien terror feel all the more real. The creature itself is a grotesque, slimy abomination that's as horrifying in appearance as it is relentless in its pursuit of human prey. The small-town setting with its isolated atmosphere makes it even more chilling. There's nowhere to run, and the alien menace seems inescapable. It's a film that relies on the build-up, creating an ever-growing sense of dread that grips the audience. It's a bleak, no-nonsense approach to horror. There's no real hero, no easy solutions. The film doesn't bother with unnecessary backstory. It's about survival, plain and simple. And that rawness gives it a gritty authenticity. Though it's not as well known as some of the other sci-fi horrors of the 80s, The Being holds a certain charm for fans who crave practical monster effects and down-to-earth alien terror. Strange Invaders 1983 is one of those films that feels like a love letter to 1950s alien invasion movies, yet it's wrapped in the eerie, synth-heavy vibe of 80s horror. When New York photographer Charles Bigelow's ex-wife disappears in a small Midwestern town, he sets out to investigate and soon discovers that the town is under siege by extraterrestrials. As he digs deeper, he uncovers a chilling conspiracy. The aliens might have plans other than to simply observe us. This film blends the fear of alien infiltration with the paranoia of 80s sci-fi horror, crafting a narrative that's as quirky as it is terrifying. The aliens themselves are sinister yet oddly human-like, blending perfectly with the film's retro vibe. The tension builds slowly as Bigelow begins to unravel the horrifying truth, leading to a surreal and deeply unsettling conclusion. The film's understated atmosphere, combined with its slow burn horror, makes it an unforgettable experience for fans of alien horror who enjoy a more cerebral approach to the genre. Lifeforce 1985 is not your typical alien horror. Directed by Tobe Hooper, the visionary behind the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, this film is a strange, sprawling space opera that blends sci-fi with elements of supernatural horror in ways that were bold for its time. The story begins with a mission to outer space, where astronauts encounter a race of vampiric aliens in the form of beautiful but deadly extraterrestrial beings. After the crew brings these aliens back to Earth, things quickly spiral out of control. The aliens, who feed off human life force, begin to drain the energy from humans, turning them into empty shells while a wave of terror spreads across the planet. On the one hand, it feels like a traditional alien invasion film, but on the other, it incorporates body horror and supernatural elements. The film's bold visuals, which include scenes of beautiful yet chilling space sequences and disturbing body transformations, help it feel unique even among other 80s alien horrors. With its relentless pacing and shocking moments, Lifeforce remains an underrated gem for fans of cosmic horror and alien films that are willing to take risks. Its surreal and bizarre approach makes it an unforgettable experience, even if it's not as well known as The Terminator or Aliens. There's a certain joy in watching a film like Night of the Creeps, a campy, quirky alien horror movie that doesn't take itself too seriously, but still manages to deliver on the thrills. Directed by Fred Decker, this film is a fun mashup of alien parasites and zombie horror, with a dash of slasher thrown in for good measure. The story begins when a group of college students uncovers alien slugs that can take over human hosts. The slugs then begin infecting the local population, turning people into mindless zombie-like creatures. It's a film that combines all the best elements of 80s horror, but with a self-aware charm that's more comedic than terrifying, at least on the surface. The film doesn't just give us alien horror, it mixes it with a touch of 50s sci-fi nostalgia, goofy humor, and a slasher-esque energy that makes it stand out from other alien horror movies of its time. It's both a love letter to the B-movie alien horrors of the past and a celebration of the excesses of 80s horror. The film's zany, over-the-top performances add to its charm. And while the premise is clearly ridiculous, the film still has a lot of heart. Though it didn't make waves in theaters, Night of the Creeps has become a cult favorite over the years. It's as entertaining as it is bizarre, and its mix of terror, humor, and nostalgia will keep you hooked from start to finish. The 1980s weren't short on alien horror, but The Stuff, 1985, stands out for its bizarre premise and satirical edge. Directed by Larry Cohen, the stuff imagines a world where an alien substance, a strange, gooey, addictive dessert, emerges from the earth and begins to take over humanity. It starts innocently enough. People love the sweet treat, but soon they realize it's not just a snack. It's a parasitic substance that invades and takes control of the human body. The stuff takes over its consumers, transforming them into mindless vessels for the alien substance. It's a perfect blend of horror and satire, using alien terror to critique consumerism and blind obedience to marketing. The film's social commentary is as sharp as its horror. As the alien substance spreads, the more they lose control over their minds and bodies. The satire is perhaps the most compelling aspect of the stuff, using the horror genre to comment on how easy it is to become consumed by trends, mass consumption, and corporate manipulation. But beyond the intellectual critique, the stuff is also a deeply unsettling alien horror film with grotesque body transformations and moments of pure terror. While the stuff is more known for its absurd premise than its scarier moments, it still stands as one of the 80s more memorable alien horror films. It's not just an alien horror movie, it's a scathing, darkly comedic critique wrapped in a slimy, disturbing package. It's an essential watch for fans of 80s horror that balances camp with genuine horror. A creature that can hop from body to body and uses them to commit violent crimes. It's a premise that sounds like a typical alien horror film, but The Hidden, 1987, manages to deliver it in a fresh, dynamic way. This action-packed alien horror film follows an FBI agent, played by Michael Nuri, and a local detective, played by Kyle MacLachlan, who are thrust together to track down a violent criminal who's been taken over by an alien entity. It's equal parts sci-fi, horror, and buddy cop thriller, which keeps the audience on their toes as the alien parasite wreaks havoc. The film's pace is relentless, and the action is coupled with a creeping tension that makes every encounter with the alien feel unpredictable. The body-hopping alien is both a chilling threat and a fascinating concept, with each new host adding a layer of mystery to the story. Despite not achieving massive mainstream success, The Hidden has since become a cult favorite, particularly for fans who enjoy a more adrenaline-fueled alien horror experience. It's a film that doesn't rely on traditional horror tropes, but instead blends alien terror with action and suspense, creating a uniquely thrilling ride that keeps you hooked from start to finish. Deadly Friend, 1986, is one of those films that straddles the line between sci-fi horror and body horror, creating a mix that is equal parts unsettling and bizarre. Directed by Wes Craven, Deadly Friend starts with a fairly straightforward premise. A brilliant young scientist named Paul, played by Matthew Laborteaux, creates a robot named BB, designed to help his mother with her health. However, when tragedy strikes, and his neighbor, the sweet but troubled Samantha, is killed, Paul takes a step that blurs the lines between life and death. In an attempt to bring her back, Paul uses BB's artificial intelligence to revive Samantha, merging her with the robot's mind. And the results are far from what he expected. What makes Deadly Friend stand out is how it handles the horror elements. On one hand, it's a tale about the dangers of playing God with technology, almost like a modern take on Frankenstein, but then it throws in elements of alien-like body control, as the reanimated Samantha, now more robot than human, becomes increasingly violent and unpredictable. The film is filled with shocking moments that range from body horror to emotional tragedy, all while trying to balance the science fiction with deep human themes of love, loss, and the consequences of technological overreach. Despite being directed by Wes Craven, best known for creating A Nightmare on Elm Street, Deadly Friend doesn't get the same recognition as his other works, but it's a fascinating, odd gem from the 80s. The film's mix of sci-fi, horror, and its unique take on AI horror makes it an often overlooked classic that deserves a closer look. And that's it for our dive into 80s alien and sci-fi horror films you might have missed. Whether it's alien parasites, body horror, or psychological abductions, these films proved that alien horrors are not just about extraterrestrial invasions. They're about the fear of the unknown and the unimaginable. If you've seen any of these films or have recommendations for other hidden sci-fi horrors from the 80s, let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a dive into the bizarre corners of horror. Until next time, stay curious and keep your eyes peeled for what lurks just beyond the stars.